Hello, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at the nation, doing our Week 3 recap and our Week 4 predictions. But first, we're going to take a look at the coach report cards for all of our head coaches. Rondé Barber, they need some extra practice. They needed to help because they did not do so hot last week. They lost 33-7 to Bryant. San Diego, they've been struggling this year. I mean, they only played the one game, but 49-17. Daryl Ballard was just getting hit every play. Bryant, they're 2-0 on the season. They just beat Howard 54-0. And they're pretty hyped for their team right now. North Dakota State, Slovakia Griffith, he gets his first victory as a head coach. John Gruden gets his first head coaching win for his alma mater, the Dayton Flyers. And Marvin Joseph still looking for that first victory on the season. They just got destroyed by the Florida International Golden Panthers. And next week, it's not going to be that easy either. That'll be the start of their SEC conference play against Tennessee State. That is actually 2 weeks from now. Jim Langer, South Dakota State, they got their first victory on the year after starting 0-2. They beat the top 25 ranked UNLV Rebels. Southern Utah 2-1 right now. They just beat Pac-10 foe Idaho State. You can already see people hopping on the Southern Utah bandwagon. Great win, coach. Raul Lozano just lost last game to the Murray State Racers 61-56. That was a shootout. Looked like a college basketball score, but his team is looking pretty good this year anyway. Seth Maddox, head coach for the Savannah State Tigers. They just beat Delaware State 63-21, and they have just been steamrolling their opponents so far. Next week is the toughest game on their schedule as they take on 18th ranked Ohio. Ken O'Brien and the UC Davis Aggies, they just lost their first game to Nevada, and they were up 21-0, I believe, and lost 31-21. So they're looking for answers after that loss. Michael Tops, Northern Colorado, looking for their first victory on the season. Next week they'll be taking on the Cornell Big Red, so they have a good shot at winning that one. Let's take a look at the top 25. The number 9 Warriors couldn't keep the Montana Grizzlies from pulling the upset. Montana, I've done this in the past, and Montana usually gets really good in this dynasty, and they're showing it right now. See how many FCS schools are in the top 25 going into Week 4. There's Hawaii. They dropped to 17th after losing to Montana. And no FCS schools so far. So maybe next week. We got Delaware is ranked 26th. Cornell is 27th. Montana 127. So we got a lot of FCS schools in there getting some votes right now. Heisman hopefuls, there's really only like 3 teams represented right now. 2 from Wyoming. Of course, you got Jason Holly, who has 7 touchdowns on 17 catches. That is unreal. Jordan Atkins, 14 touchdown passes. Brian Sands with 4 touchdowns. He's moving down the list a little bit here. I think they might have had a bye week last week. And 10 total touchdowns for Stephen Turner. Riley Cotton, halfback for Central Michigan. Over 300 yards total, 370 total yards. He's doing pretty well for the Chippewas. And let's get into the players of the week. Smash Jackson, of course, gets NCAA Offensive Player of the Week with 8 total touchdowns, 7 on the ground, 1 receiving. Sean Cribbs, 16 tackles for Hampton, 8 for a loss, 3 sacks, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery in their win over Norfolk State, 21-14. What a performance by the middle linebacker. ACC Players of the Week, MJ Gator Jr., 178 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns, 38 yards receiving in their victory over Delaware State. And, of course, Sean Cribbs. And the Big Ten, Smash Jackson, of course. And the Defensive Player of the Week for the Big Ten is Rob Orlandi, 7 tackles, 1 for a loss, 2 picks, and a forced fumble. The Big 12, Lamar Jackson gets Offensive Player of the Week honors, 263 yards passing, 63 rushing, 3 total touchdowns, and Austin Bracey, 1 tackle, 3 picks, 1 touchdown in the Bison's win over the James Madison Dukes. Tony Weeks, wide receiver out of Columbia, 13 catches, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Joey Hodges, senior wide receiver, playing some defense, 10 tackles, 1 pick, forced fumble. You don't see that every day from a wide receiver. Probably out there playing some corner or safety. Conference USA, Matt Howell, redshirt sophomore quarterback, threw for 119 yards, ran for 219 yards on 46 carries and 3 touchdowns. Wow. Antoine Johnson, 11 tackles, 1 for a loss, 1 pick, 1 forced fumble for the Richmond Spiders. Junior left outside linebacker. Heck of a performance from him as they beat Alabama A&M. Independence, Lawrence Tompkins, halfback, junior, had 29 carries, 195 yards, 3 touchdowns. Frank Holden, their middle linebacker, had a heck of a game as well. Into the MAC, Troy Rhodes from Buffalo, 403 yards, 5 touchdowns against Penn. Isaiah Alvarez versus Oklahoma State, and Maine won that one. I didn't even look at the stats, I just saw they beat Oklahoma State. I don't even know what to say to that. Dusty Horn from Murray State, 368 all-purpose yards, 4 touchdowns. Donald Wright, 8 tackles, 1 pick, 1 touchdown in their victory over the Cal Poly Mustangs. And the Pac-10 is full of Mustangs here. Alexander Connor, 402 passing yards, 50% completion percentage, 9 carries, 51 yards, and 4 total touchdowns. Joseph Lozano, 4 tackles, 1 pick, and 1 touchdown on that pick. The SEC, Adrian Walker, wide receiver, junior out of Southern. They won against Grambling, 31-28. He had 14 receptions, 247 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Allen Davidson, player of the week on defense for the Dolphins. He had that fumble recovery for a touchdown against FIU. And FIU was full for the Sun Belt players of the week. The WAC, Dante Mathis, redshirt senior quarterback, 326 passing yards, 2 total touchdowns. And Thurman Price, 4 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 picks, and a touchdown. There was actually 1 tackle for a loss. I just got a little ahead of myself. That was for Nevada. Now, let's get into our recap for Week 3. South Dakota State, I had them losing that one 41-35, and they actually upset the 20th ranked UNLV Rebels 35-14 in the Rebels' house. Cal Poly Mustangs, I had them winning this game 31-20 over Murray State, and they let me down here. They lost 61-56 in one of the highest scoring shootouts we've seen so far. Southern Utah hosted the Idaho State Bengals in their first Pac-10 matchup, and I had them winning that one 24-21. They did not disappoint. They won it 30-28 over the Bengals. Bryant taking on the Howard Bison in their ACC opener. I had them winning that one 28-10, and they completely shattered that prediction by winning 54-0 over the Bison. Complete blowout. And the 5th game of Week 3, I had Jacksonville losing this one 38-28 to the 25th ranked Florida International Golden Panthers. But instead, the Dolphins pretty much fought with themselves on offense. Couldn't stop anything. The special teams was awful. And FIU coasted to a 58-17 victory over the Dolphins. Let's get into the last 5 games for Week 3 and see how close I was on those predictions. UC Davis traveling to the 8th ranked Nevada Wolfpack. I had Nevada winning 42-21, and UC Davis actually held a 21-0 lead over the Wolfpack, but ended up allowing 31 straight points and losing that one. It was still a hard-fought game for the Aggies. Savannah State traveled to Delaware State to take on ACC foe, the Hornets, and I had Savannah State winning that one 35-17. They ended up winning 63-21 over the Hornets, and I'm just gonna keep saying that Savannah State's gonna score 60 points a game. I think that's what's gonna happen from now on. Dayton actually traveled to number 18 San Jose State. They went all the way to California, and I had Dayton winning a close one, 28-27. And for some reason, San Jose State just decided to send their cheerleaders on the field to take on the Flyers, and they lost that one big time in front of their home crowd, 63-0. North Dakota State traveling to take on the James Madison Dukes in a rematch of the 2017 National Championship game. I had the Bison winning 27-24, and it was really close. It was just a little more high scoring than I thought it would be. 48-45, the Bison go out of there with a victory. And our final game of Week 3, Northern Colorado traveling to take on the number 1 ranked Boise State Broncos. I had the Broncos winning 45-21. I was trying to give the Bears a little bit of credit and hoping they would get some more points on the board. Instead, Boise State won 56-17, and I believe that is the last ranked opponent on the Bears' schedule. So take a sigh of relief if you are a Bears fan, it gets easier. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Week 4 matchups and my predictions for those matchups. First game of Week 4, South Dakota State taking on Dartmouth. I got the Jackrabbits winning that one 42-13. I don't think anyone from the Big East really stands a big chance against any of our 12 schools in this dynasty. Game 2, Northern Colorado. The Bears looking for their first victory on the season, and they're hosting the Cornell Big Red, also from the Big East. And I got the Bears winning that one 31-20. Game number 3, San Diego Toreros traveling to in-city rival, the San Diego State Aztecs, who are ranked 19th in the nation. And I got the Aztecs winning that one 45-20. I don't like their chances against a ranked opponent. And the offensive line for San Diego has just been god-awful. Mr. Ballard was on his back so many times, and I feel bad for him. Game number 4, Cal Poly hosting the Villanova Wildcats. I got Cal Poly winning that one 38-17. They just have a lot of firepower on that offense. I really like Alexander Connor, and Eric Spears Jr. does great when he comes in for some run plays here and there. Game number 5, Savannah State traveling to 18th ranked Ohio Bobcats. And I have the Savannah State Tigers winning a close one, 34-31. This is the toughest game on their schedule, but I think they have so much firepower on offense, and their defense is just downright nasty, and I think they'll come away with that victory. Game number 6, Southern Utah, the Thunderbirds hosting the 20th ranked Buffalo Bulls. I got Buffalo winning that one 42-28. Game number 7, the Bryant Bulldogs hosting the Morgan State Bears. I got Bryant winning that one 31-10. They're just on fire right now, 2-0, and I think they're going to be 3-0 after this one. UC Davis Aggies, as much as I love that team right now, they're traveling to the 25th ranked New Mexico State Aggies. So we got a little bit of an Aggie Bowl going on here, but I like New Mexico State to win that one 52-24. Game number 9, VMI, the Cadets hosting the 9th ranked Tulane Green Wave. And again, a ranked opponent, an FBS school. I don't like VMI's chances of winning that game. I got Tulane going out on top, 49-14. The final game of Week 4, the Dayton Flyers traveling to the 10th ranked Eastern Michigan Eagles from the MAC. And I got Dayton winning that one 35-28. They really surprised me last week with that 63-0 victory over the top 25 ranked San Jose State Spartans. And I think they have a good shot at upsetting another top 25 opponent. But that's going to do it for taking a look at the nation, our Week 3 recap, and our Week 4 predictions. Let me know in the comments section below what you guys think of these matchups, who you think might pull off an upset, and who do you think will get destroyed this week. I look forward to your comments in the comments section below. I will see you guys tomorrow with our Houston Texans franchise. Take it easy, guys.